Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this video or like this watch, click on the link in the description below and buy it for the lowest price anywhere online, or subscribe to our channel to see other videos of great watches just like this. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Rolex Datejust 41 Oyster Steel and White Gold reference 126334 blue fluted motif dial with a Jubilee band. I'm going to talk to you guys about the bezel, the dial, the case, the bracelet, the movement, try it on, and give you my thoughts. This is the Datejust 41. It's the largest of the Datejust collection that Rolex makes. Rolex makes it 28, 31 millimeters for women, 36 unisex, and 41 for men. You could even argue that the Sky Dweller collection, being 42 millimeter, is just an extension of the Datejust 41, be it Datejust could actually be called Datejust 42. But suffice it to say, Rolex makes this Datejust 41. It's their largest one, and it's the one that is promoted by Rolex to be the classic men's dress watch. And the 41 millimeters refers to the distance of the case at its longest point, from 4 o'clock to 2 o'clock. That distance is 41 millimeters. The case itself is an oyster case. It's made of stainless steel, and it's their classic case. It's a monoblock middle case with a screw-down case back and winding crown. Now, Rolex calls this watch a mix of steel and white gold, but I can tell you, we're moving on to the next portion, which is the bezel. The bezel is the only thing about this watch that is made of gold. It's made of white gold. Now, the bezel is classic Rolex fluted bezel. They also make it in a dome bezel. And if you want, you can do an aftermarket diamond bezel, which some people do, and we sell that at jazztime.com. But this is the fluted bezel. It's the classic Rolex look. Anyone who sees this bezel probably would be able to recognize that it is a Rolex. It's classic. It's beautiful for all those reasons. Now, I forgot to tell you about one other thing. When I take this watch and turn it on its side, you can see the profile. It has a nice thin profile, or at least I wouldn't say thin. I would say medium. You don't want it too thin either, because then it doesn't look like it has any weight to it or heft to it. It's approximately 12 millimeters thick, and that's a good healthy size. That's kind of the standard thickness. And 41 millimeters is also kind of the standard size, because you can't have it too small, or else, be honest, it's difficult to read. Especially for older guys, your eyesight isn't as good as it used to be. So it's not a bad thing to have a bigger watch to see. That's also a practical consideration. Okay, now let's talk about the dial. This is a very special dial. Actually, it was released, I believe, in 2022, and it's a blue fluted motif dial. What does that mean? Well, they used to make, well, actually, they still do make this blue dial without this pattern. The fluted motif is, you see how the dial, it almost kind of looks like the bezel is printed on the dial. That's what the fluted motif looks like. It's a motif pattern that looks like the bezel. And I think it adds great depth, and it looks great on this dial. Now, blue has traditionally been Rolex's best-selling Datejust color for men. It's the most desirable, and it has a premium to it. And they've expanded on that and made the blue even better by making it motif. They didn't do that with any other dial color. They did it, I suspect, with the blue, because the blue is so rich and beautiful that making it a motif dial only enhances that. It makes it even more beautiful. So actually, I think they might have even done it with a green. you can check their website or check Jazz Time's website. You can actually even buy this watch at jazztime.com. That's JAZTIME.com for the lowest price anywhere online. Or just click on the link in the description below. While I was saying that, I just checked Rolex's website, and yes, in fact, they do make this also with a green motif. It makes sense. Those are the two best colors, green and blue. Probably blue winning out because it matches more things that you could actually wear. So it makes total sense that they would put this cool motif pattern on the blue and not the rest of them. And I think it probably would fall flat if they tried putting it on some other colors such as black or whatever. Okay, so now that I've talked to you about the dial, the bezel, and the case, let's talk about the bracelet. The bracelet is a Jubilee bracelet. It's 5 links across. And this Jubilee bracelet is your typical Rolex bracelet, and it's the most most people can immediately see this bracelet and realize that it's a Rolex. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing. Sometimes you want people to know you're wearing a Rolex, sometimes you don't. But at any rate, I think it looks great. And one of the benefits I can say about a Jubilee over the Oyster, actually two things I can mention, is that first of all, it doesn't scratch as easily. Well, I shouldn't say it doesn't scratch as easily. It does scratch. They all scratch because it's steel. But it's less noticeable. When you have the Oyster bracelet, the links are thicker and you can see the scratches very easily because it's such a big surface. But on the Jubilee bracelet, it's much smaller links and it's much easier to conceal these scratches, and it's not quite as noticeable. That's the first benefit. The second benefit is that Jubilee, I've heard this from other customers too, is that they prefer the Jubilee because it conforms to the wrist better. The smaller the link, the more that it will shape itself to your wrist and therefore have a tighter and more form-fitting on your wrist as opposed to the Oyster. The only negative I could say is it does perhaps maybe look a little bit more feminine, but that's not a bad thing. You don't need to have every single thing that you have be super masculine, so that's one thing. Okay, now let's look at the clasp. The clasp is the thing that folds over. It's a folding Oyster clasp, and it does not have a safety clasp, meaning you just pull it once and it opens. And that's because it's a dress watch, not meant to be worn like in a diving situation or a sporting situation. If you want a safety clasp, then you should buy a sports watch or a professional line, such as Submariner, etc., which you can do at jazztime.com for the lowest price anywhere online, by the way. Now, it does have this Easy Link 5mm comfort extension, which means you just pull out here and it extends another 5mm. You might ask yourself and say, well, why do you need that? Actually, I do use it because sometimes your wrist can be bigger or smaller depending on time of day and conditions outside, like if it's hot or cold, or if you've been sitting for a long time, for example, like on an airplane or at your desk when you're working, which is what I'm doing right now. So that could make your wrist bigger or smaller. And it would be nice to have a watch that extends and contracts without having to use any tools, which is what Rolex thought of. And Rolex is known for that, for their comfort. They're known for many things. Okay, anyhow, let's talk about the movement now. The movement, I was before going to say that all Rolex movements are covered. You can't see any of them, but they recently came out with a Daytona that you can see the back or see the movement. That's the only one that has it. Oh yeah, also their 1908 model has it, but all the rest have a closed case back. Now the caliber is the 3235 movement. It used to be a 3135 that has been since upgraded since this was released, and it has a precision of ±2 seconds a day and a power reserve of 70 hours. The oscillator, not like you can see any of this stuff, but I'll tell you anyways, it's a paramagnetic blue parachrome hairspring with a high-performance Paraflex shock absorber. I'm not sure that all matters, but it is there and you can't see it. Basically, what I can tell you is the movement is very good. You're not going to have any problems with it. It's made by Rolex, which is the best watch company in the world. And what else you need to know? Not much. It tells time. It tells the date. It looks great. That's about all you need to know. Okay, now let's move on to me actually wearing it. Now I'm 200 pounds and I have a 7.5 inch wrist. Probably I would consider myself an average sized hand. So you can see what it looks like on my wrist. And as you see, it looks fantastic. You get to see a little bit of, you get to see obviously head. It covers the wrist, but you can see the bracelet, a bit of the bracelet too. Now that's how you tell if the watch is too small. If it's, or if the watch is too big. If the watch is too big, then the bracelet will actually fold inverted and you won't see any of the wrist. You want to be able to see a little bit of the head. No, sorry. You want to see the entire head and a little bit of the bracelet. Does that make sense? If you're looking at it straight on, that's how you tell. If you can't see that, if you can't see any bracelet, then perhaps you should go to a 36 millimeter. So anyways, my thoughts are this is your prototypical dial, and I forgot to mention that it has lume when we were talking about the dial. They actually only make the fluted motif in this index dial. Index meaning it has luminescence, which I forgot to say is another positive thing about this watch, is that it's highly legible, meaning that you can see it at nighttime very easily because it has this luminescent hour markers which lend itself to be seen at night as opposed to Roman. So this watch really has it all. It has all the best characteristics. Has got the iconic bezel, has the iconic bracelet. It has the very cool, modern, beautiful blue dial that is even now more modern because of this fluted motif. And then it has the practical legibility of this index. I'm going to give this watch a 10 out of 10 because it it does checkbox everything that you could want out of a dress watch. So I know I'm really high on this watch, but if you ask me about the silver or the white, I probably wouldn't be so high on it. So the blue dial, and blue is a very good color for men. So if you want to buy this watch, what do? Go to somebody else, watch our video, and then go to someone else's website? No, of course not. If you want to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online, where do you think you should go? Click on the link in the description below. Yes, right below, right where you're looking at. Click on it, click on the link, and simply go to jazztime.com, press buy now, pay us, and you'll have this watch on your desk tomorrow morning. That's it, simple. And for the lowest price anywhere online.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on show more to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.